Hello, and welcome to Stories from India, a podcast where we talk about myths, legends, and folk tales from India. I'm your host, Narad Muni, and I'm a mythological character myself. I have the gift of eternal life and knowledge of the past, the present, and the future. By profession, I'm a traveling musician and a storyteller. So, the way I'm doing my job is by podcast. In today's mini episode, we are going to encounter one of the largest creatures that ever lived on Earth. It's a Timingila or Timingilam. In most mythology and fiction around the world, there are reports of extra large sea creatures. There's the Kraken from Scandinavian folklore. Then there's Nessie, the Loch Ness monster. From literature, there's the terrible dogfish from Pinocchio, which was a kilometer long, and the whale from the 7 Voyages of Sinbad, which was so huge that Sinbad's ship parked there thinking it was an island. You may also recall the scene from Jurassic World that showed a supersized mosasaur jumping out of the water to eat the teeny tiny looking great white shark. Well, the Timingila is the Indian mythology equivalent of all of these. The name literally means whale swallower. Timin means a whale, and Gila is swallower. Whales are this creature's favorite snack. Considering that most whales are endangered, it's maybe a good thing we don't have the Timingilas around anymore. Otherwise, whales would be swallowed down to extinction. Generally, Timingilas like to keep to themselves in the ocean deep. But they do appear in many different stories, including the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. In the Ramayana, Ram encountered these whale eaters as he crossed over from India to Sri Lanka on the way to rescue Sita. There's a passing reference to these in the Mahabharata as well. One major encounter was with the Rishi Markandeya. We'll definitely do a separate episode on Markandeya, but the short story about his life is that he was a Rishi who was meant to be killed at a young age. But Shiva, the destroyer, intervened. And since then, Markandeya is immortal. Being immortal, Markandeya has experienced and survived the destruction of the entire world. If you remember episode 1, Unicorn Fish, which, by the way, coincidentally featured a much bigger fish than the Timingila. Well, in that episode, King Manu, the Merciful, had taken along Markandeya on his boat as well. But remember, there are many cycles of destruction and great floods. During one of those other ones, Markandeya encountered a Timingila. He also encountered a makar that was trying to eat him. A makar is another cryptid, more like a crocodile fish, which might be one way to describe a shark. Now, you might wonder, is the Timingila just Megalodon, the legendary mega shark? The answer is simple. No. Megalodons went extinct long before the first humans. Besides, Megalodons, though big, weren't big enough to swallow whales. If you think about it, one reasonable explanation is that the Timingila and Timin are both just whales. Given the wide variety of whale subspecies in the Indian Ocean, there's a huge possibility that people simply mistook two widely varied subspecies of whales to be two different creatures altogether. The smallest whale, a dwarf sperm whale, is small enough by whale standards at least, to easily fit inside the mouth of the largest whale, the blue whale. Though, if the blue whale actually tried it, it would probably choke. Its mouth may be large enough, but its throat is not. That's it for this mini episode. In this weekend's full episode, we are back to the Ramayana. We'll continue where we left off. In the forest that was to become Ram, Lakshman and Sita's home for a long time. If you have comments or suggestions, please leave a comment or a review on the site sfipodcast.com or tweet at sfipodcast. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to subscribe to the show to get notified automatically of new episodes. Thanks to all you listeners for your continued support and your feedback. The music is from purpleplanet.com. That's purple-planet.com. I'll see you later.